Alright guys, I'm back with another video this week. Earlier this week I uploaded a video and it was a compilation of my different animations and comics, so I hope that you guys enjoyed that. So now I'm going to talk about the new movie that came out on Disney Plus. It's Pixar's Soul. So this is my review on it. These are just a few points that I had about the movie in terms of its quality, things like animation, storytelling, the things that Pixar have kind of been best at in the animation community over the past 20 years or so, really 25 years. It's been a long time. They've been on top for a really long time. So I'm going to talk about some of my main points about the movie. So if you haven't seen Soul, I would highly recommend that you check it out because it's an interesting film. I would say that it is a streaming film, and that's not like an insult to the movie. I think that the movie is really good if it is a DreamWorks movie. It's really good if it's an Illumination movie. However, it's not. It's a Pixar movie, and I like to hold Pixar to a higher standard than other animation studios. So with this movie, I don't remember most of it. It wasn't that memorable. I watched it about a week ago now, and I give myself time to think about, what all I liked, I disliked. I gave myself time to process the movie before I made the review. So I feel like my thoughts are really concrete now, and they're sort of my final thoughts on the movie. So I'm not going to spoil the movie, but the main character, he goes into this soul world. I don't know what to call it. Now, the animation on Earth, the animation with all the people is really, really good. Even for Pixar, it's really nice looking. It's like there's one shot where they show pizza crust, and the pizza crust is more realistic than actual pizza crust. It's insane, the level of detail in that part of the movie. Now, there's a part of the movie, which you can even see in the trailers, where the main character, dude, he goes into this soul world, and it's highly stylized in the sense that it's very simplistic. However, simplicity is really good for low-budget animation studios, but when we're talking about Pixar, I kind of want to see more, like in the movie Coco, where in Coco, the world of the dead, the land of the dead, was super stylized, but not in like a simplistic sense. It was very complex, and it looked very nice, which is what I like to see from Pixar. I don't think that the simplistic route is the way to go for Pixar. I just don't think that that's good for them because they can do more. They have a higher budget, which, speaking of that, this movie had an incredibly high budget, which really sort of confused me because I thought that the climax would have been a bit more. I felt like the climax was a bit cliche in the movie, where, there's like an argument, for example. That's sort of like a cliche. I didn't really appreciate the ending. I didn't really enjoy that much. Now, in the trailer for Soul, if you've seen the trailer, there's actually some AJR music, and I really liked that in the trailer. Although I don't agree with AJR's specific political agenda that they push in a few of their songs, they've got some bops, they've got some beats, they have some really good music, and I was really hoping to see and hear some more of that in Soul. I didn't. There was no AJR music in the movie, which really confused me. And the main character, he is a musician. He plays the piano. He's a pianist. And he wants to, share his music with the world. And that's the main thing in his soul. That he feels like that's his main goal. But the thing is that the movie doesn't show us a lot of music, which is incredibly confusing because that's his main goal at the start of the movie. He wants to share his music. And without this movie being a musical, or without this movie having certain pieces of music to accompany it, I don't really feel like it's focused on the main character's goal, which is kind of what the whole movie is centered around. So I don't really feel like the movie focuses that well on what it needs to focus on. So I don't really feel like the movie Soul has any soul in it, which is incredibly ironic because that's the title of the movie. So I actually really liked the main character. I feel like they should have focused on his interests more, and I really liked Coco for a few reasons. I really liked the style. I liked that it was complex, but you still understood what was going on. I really liked the music. I really appreciated the music in Coco. It was really good. I feel like we should have had some more music in Soul because the main dude is all about music, playing the piano. We should have had some of his piano music in the movie, at least a little bit more. Another thing that really bugged me about the movie is this sort of thing that all movie makers know. It's a rule, and it's show, don't tell. And the main character, he brings up at one point that that there was a certain group of black musicians decades ago that had really good music, and I thought that was an interesting thing that he brought up. But they never really show us any of the music, really, which is really frustrating. So I liked the detail that they put into the character, but I felt like we didn't get to see enough of the detail. He talked the whole movie about, I play the piano, I'm trying to share music with other people. We don't get to hear enough of it. We don't get to see enough of it, in my opinion. So my last point on the movie is that the movie tried to be super diverse, but it really failed at being a diverse film. So in the movie, a fun game that I like to play while watching the movie was count how many white people are in the movie, and I got to about 5 people, which is kind of weird because it takes place in New York, and there are a lot more white people in New York. But that's besides the point. I could tell that they were obviously going for some diversity in the film, which I don't mind. Like I said, I really liked the movie Coco, and I felt like Coco did really well with the diversity. Like, they captured the culture very, very well in the movie Coco. I didn't think that they did that as much in the movie Soul. Like I said, I wish that they would have had more of a focus on the soul of the character, the, music, the piano, things like that. They didn't have enough of it in the movie. So one more thing that I'd like to say is that I really wish that the film would have focused more on the characters that were on the pirate ship, the people who were meditating. I found that to be a really interesting part of the movie, which is really sad that it was only 5 minutes of the movie. It only lasted about 5 minutes, 2.5 minutes here, 2.5 minutes there. The ship kind of reminded me of Treasure Planet, where, they weren't on an actual sea, they're sort of like sailing in the air, I guess. It was just an interesting concept, and I wish that we would have seen more of that. So I don't think that it's a bad movie. I don't think that it's a really, really good movie. I think that it belongs on a streaming service. I think that it belongs on Disney+. So, in my opinion, Soul is not a bad movie. It's not a really, really good movie. It accomplishes what it needs to be, a decent film, but it doesn't have any soul. So that being said, I'll see you guys next week. Adios.